9 saves from Alisson against PSG in the first leg. A commanding Premier League lead and topping their Champions League group. Are these more coincidences, or are they the result of Arne Slot's tactical masterclass, silencing those who question his appointment? After analyzing every match under Slot, we have uncovered 3 tactical innovations that have transformed Liverpool from last season's inconsistencies into genuine title favorites. Each shift contains a surprising twist in his approach. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these key adjustments, but also understand how seemingly minor tweaks create massive competitive advantages on the pitch. But before we dive in, ask yourself, what really separates elite teams from those that just fall short? Is it individual talent, experience, or the ability to adapt tactically in crucial moments? For all their prestigious history, Liverpool's recent Champions League campaigns have been marred by inconsistency and frustrating defeats against elite opposition. Think about this. What caused their humiliating 5-2 home defeat to Real Madrid in 2023? Why did they fall to Atlanta in the quarterfinals the following season? Were these just bad nights, or did they reveal deeper flaws? Liverpool's once feared high-intensity press had become predictable. Opponents adapted, learning to bypass it by playing through the lines, exposing gaps in the midfield, and overloading Liverpool's high defensive line. The numbers painted a clear picture. Liverpool conceded an average of 1.4 goals per game in their last 2 Champions League campaigns, a stark contrast to their domestic defensive record. Against technically sophisticated teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atlanta, Liverpool often found themselves struggling to dictate play. Their reactive approach left them chasing shadows instead of controlling the tempo. Could this be why the European ambitions stalled? These historical weaknesses resurfaced dramatically in the first half against PSG. For 45 minutes, Liverpool appeared passive and overwhelmed. PSG dominated possession 58%, completed 93% of their passes, and registered 7 shots to Liverpool's 3. Luis Enrique's tactics neutralized Liverpool's strengths and ruthlessly exposed their weaknesses. At halftime, with PSG leading 1-0, Liverpool faced a defining moment. Would they collapse under pressure again, or was this the perfect opportunity for Slot to implement the tactical revolution that could finally solve their European problem? Though PSG won the recent game, it appears as if this was a blessing in disguise for Liverpool. The scoreboard suggested that Paris Saint-Germain had a 1-0 advantage at the halftime break. However, the genuine battle was only beginning to take place within the locker room. During the same time that Slot was assembling his players, they were also gathering around the organizational board. If you were to tell a team that they had been utterly outplayed by another team, what kind of phrases would you say to them? The system that Liverpool is now employing is a 4-2-3-1. Which is a deviation from previous configurations that the club has employed in different situations. The construction of the structural backbone was accomplished through the implementation of the double pivot, which is a formation in which 2 defensive midfielders are positioned in front of the backline. In what sense does this have any bearing on the whole situation? This is mostly due to the fact that it simultaneously improves defensive solidity while also allowing attacking players with more flexibility to choose how they want to express themselves. Another indicator that Slot had undergone a significant metamorphosis was the fact that he placed a greater emphasis on short, quick passing rather than speculative long balls. Rather than hurrying the play forward into the future, his technique placed an emphasis on gradually building up to a point where it was regulated and gradually increasing in tempo. This was done in order to preserve the integrity of the performance. To put that into perspective, how does this strategy fare when it is put up against adversaries from Europe who are known for their high-pressure strategies? In the beginning, it appeared as though the first half of the match against PSG validated the worries that were being voiced up until that point. Despite this, Slot made a significant modification during the break that occurred in the middle of the game. His activities resulted in an increase in the intensity of Liverpool's pressing, and they also resulted in a change in the defensive lines that they utilized. The moment that Stefan Warnock, a former player and analyst, considers to be the defining moment of the game, this is the moment that signified the turning point throughout the game. It was Liverpool's choice to engage in aggressive play rather than giving Paris Saint-Germain the opportunity to spend time on the ball. This decision was made by Liverpool. The pressing triggers were always altering, which meant that PSG was forced to take positions that were uncomfortable for them. This was because the pushing triggers were continuously shifting. There was a remarkable change in the way the game was proceeding, and Liverpool, rather than Paris Saint-Germain, appeared to gain control of the narrative. This was a significant development. The double pivot was the unsung hero who stood out the most throughout the course of the game with their exceptional performance. In the past, Liverpool has never used more than one defensive midfielder, which has rendered them vulnerable to defeat when they are competing against clubs from the top level of competition. This has made Liverpool vulnerable to defeat. In defensive transitions, the modification of Slot delivers numerical gains, making them more difficult to break down while still allowing flexibility in attacking. This ability allows for greater versatility in attacking. The manner in which Slot considers defensive vulnerabilities, on the other hand, is the primary factor that distinguishes his system from that of other people. It is the hallmark of an exceptional European squad that they are able to take pressure and then strike at the appropriate moment. Because he is aware of this truth, he is willing to bear pain because it is the trademark of an elite European squad. But there's another thing cooking in the pipeline, and that is Arne's wild card. The success that Liverpool has achieved is not only due to the tactical expertise that they possess, but it is also the result of the way that they incorporate technology into their game. During the year 2027, performance models that are powered by artificial intelligence will be able to forecast the occurrence of events within a game with an incredible degree of precision. The Slot team will be able to make adjustments to their approach in real time as a result of this innovation. The biomechanics of athletes may be tracked through the utilization of wearable sensors, which not only helps to decrease the possibility of injuries but also improves the effectiveness of physical training. The convergence of technology and football has resulted in the development of a novel approach to the training and development of players. The use of this strategy guarantees that players will acquire the highest potential degree of physical fitness while also enhancing their awareness of strategically important situations. However, it also raises concerns about the possibility of an excessive dependence on data, which is a risk that is associated with it. Is it possible that the level of accuracy that has been attained has come at the expense of the natural talent that has been responsible for the most memorable moments in football? Slot has been able to recognize and cultivate emerging talent, which has resulted in the formation of a new Liverpool dynasty under his leadership. By virtue of Slot's leadership, this accomplishment has been realized. The academy of the club, which is supported by cutting-edge scouting tools, consistently produces talents of world-class caliber that are suited to the tactical nature of the team. Training and development that is extremely demanding is what allows this to be accomplished. This new generation of Liverpool players fits themselves with Slot's concept in a way that is entirely natural by utilizing a combination of technical expertise and unrelenting pushing toward the goal. The question of whether Liverpool's dominance will endure beyond Slot's term or whether his plan is too dependent on his vision is a concern that comes inevitably whenever there is success. Slot's blueprint is too dependent on his vision. Unfortunately, Slot's approach is very reliant on his vision. In addition, what strategies might future opponents employ in order to counteract the growing dominance of this footballing empire? In order to revolutionize the sport of football, Liverpool has implemented a combination of strategic intelligence, optimization driven by artificial intelligence, and uncompromising recruitment procedures. Due to the fact that Arne Slot is the leader of Liverpool, this revolution has been brought about. The fact that they are so dominant is evidence that the game has developed into the manner that is played now, which has progressed over the course of time. The lessons that we have learned from this history have taught us that it is impossible for an empire to persist for an unlimited amount of time. Would it be more accurate to say that we are currently witnessing the birth of a new dynasty, or would Slot's Liverpool have the potential to be challenged by any other team in Europe? What are some of the ways that the sport of football will continue to develop as a result of Liverpool's domination in the international football scene? Liverpool's transformation under Arne Slot has turned tactical struggles into a blueprint for success. But as any elite manager will tell you, tactical evolution never stops. Slot himself acknowledges this reality. The best team in Europe has to win the Champions League. But with Liverpool out of the Champions League, they might need to fine-tune things. Can they maintain their discipline, executing their pressing triggers, and withstand the pressure of an elite opponent in a must-win situation? The next season awaits opportunities. If Slot's system holds firm, it won't just be a victory for Liverpool. It could become the tactical framework that reshapes how European football is played. So what do you think? Have Liverpool truly evolved into Champions League contenders under Slot? Or is there still work to be done before they can claim European supremacy?